I'm just waiting until some people come on. So if you see this, let me know that you're here. Monday came fast like they always do. I did not sleep well last night at all. So I'm making these little brooms. I need to go find sticks in my yard. I didn't grab any before I did this. Super easy to make these. You can make them big, small. You can use bigger twine. You can use yarn, whatever you have. But then basically you stick a stick, not a pen, inside here. And then you can use them to make garlands or whatever. You can use them for all kinds of things. But I need to start. I've got all these things right here and I've got some projects I want to start. And so yeah, I was just sitting here doing those before I got on here. So tell me how your weekend was. If anybody is here, tell me how your weekend was. Our kids are great, but I love when they sign up for dog sitting and, but yet they're working at the same time. So then Matt and I end up doing the dog sitting or where we have to go feed them and let them out. There were 2 nights this weekend that we had to do that for one of our kids. And one of the times we had a really big storm where the house was, we had to drive there to get to the dog. And there was a massive storm happening, like starting. And then we got right in the middle of it. We had to pull over. It was so high winds, really a lot of rain. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? Helping out the kids that double booked themselves. And we're at the age where that shouldn't probably happen. But, and then, I'm just telling on the kids this weekend, but one of our kids was helping a friend who has kind of like they have a family farm. And so they have like a store kind of thing, and where they also do deliveries. So all the vegetables they grow, the meat, the eggs, like all that kind of stuff. So they actually do kind of like a grocery delivery. And it's all around surrounding areas around us. And so one of our kids was helping them do that. And then it got to a point where they ended up over here. So they stopped here and they got something to drink. They got some snacks to take with them. And then I got a phone call to say my friend's phone was dying and they did not have a charger. Well, they needed that phone to get the orders out, and like it's all on that phone, if that makes sense. So they needed a charger. So then I'm driving to them so they don't have to waste time to come back here because everybody's waiting for their grocery orders. So I ran that to them, and then I got home and I get a phone call. This is Officer so-and-so, and I am in such and such town where they met before they did the deliveries, if that makes sense. And I am looking for such and such kid that drives a such and such car. They have it parked at the local place. Why they thought they should meet there and then park the car and leave it there all day in a small town where parking is kind of, at a minimum, if that's the right word. And right there where the cashier can watch like all day that nobody's in the car, that the car's just been left there. So then I'm driving out there, and thank goodness Matt got off a little bit early that day. I can't remember what this was. Was this Thursday or Friday? I can't even remember. And so he was able to meet me because I was going to have to move the car and then walk back to my car. Oh my gosh. It's been a fun weekend helping the kids out. Does this ever change? Like, at what age are they, are they fully not doing that kind of stuff? Is anybody here? I cannot tell if anybody here is here. Oh, here's another gross thing that happened this weekend. So we live at the end of our street. It is it's a dead end street, but when you get to the dead end, it's a field, and then there's a creek that kind of runs through it, kind of on the other side of the field, if that makes sense. So we see all kinds of things, like deer all the time. I always want to call them beavers, but that's not what they are. They're like big groundhogs, right? Is that what they're called? I don't know. They kind of look like beavers, but they don't have that tail. They're big like that. So anyway, we had a loon. I think that's what you call it. Some kind of big, tall bird that lived down there for a while. Anyway, so at the top of our street, somebody hit a possum. Okay, and this has never happened to me before. So somebody hit a possum. Okay, whatever. So after that happened, this weekend, I'm like, something smells, and it was near our garage. And I'm like, it smelled like a dead animal. Or I'm like, is that the garbage? Like, it's been really hot, and the garbage is on the other side of our garage. I'm like, what is this? It was so bad. And it was funny because our dog Hilly kept going in the garage. And I'm like, that's not normal, right? Well, she was smelling it too, obviously. So I went around to the garbage, and I'm like, it's not our garbage. What is that smell? And so Gabrielle and I park in the garage, and I'm like, it smells like a dead animal. So did she hit that? So I thought she maybe hit that possum because she works or she babysits and it's late at night. And I thought maybe, and I hadn't talked to her, so I thought maybe she had hit that possum. And so I just thought it was on her car. No, she didn't hit the possum. I didn't hit the possum, but I ran over, or parts of, I don't even want to know, that dead animal, and it was on my car or on my tire. I mean, it smelled the entire garage up. I didn't even know that was possible. But yeah, so we had to take that through the car wash, which was $22 to go through the car wash. Now, I know you can pay a monthly whatever, and like in 3 times why is a car wash $22? I just was like, it is how much? That's crazy. But I knew I needed like the undercarriage cleaned or whatever. So, and this one was like, it was just the step 2. It wasn't even the step whatever. I don't even know how much that would have been, but I just I wanted the wheels. I was just thinking it was on the wheels, but oh my goodness, the worst smell. I didn't know that could happen. So now I'm being very careful. There was a huge vulture up there a couple days ago eating it. So I'm like, yes, take it away, because nobody on the top of the street was taking care of it. So, gross. Gross. Have you guys, I'm going to wait. I'm just going to sit here and talk. I can just sit here and chat. I'm going to wait to see if somebody chimes in at all. Always on these Monday morning, I'm more than happy to do these lives. I just want to make sure that people are here, and please ask me any questions. Please, anything, any kind of question. It doesn't have to be a project question. It can be whatever you want. We are getting one of our rentals ready for the couple moved out, and so we are trying to get it ready for the next people that want to move in. It wasn't horrible, but as always, there's things you have to do. And the yard work has been the most. There was a lot of overgrown stuff, but somebody bought the house next door to it, and they're planning on doing, an older couple lived there, and they moved, I think, to a retirement. I think he needed a lot of help. So this younger guy bought the house, and he's getting all new siding, all new whatever, which is going to be great because it's going to look so much better next to ours. The house needed it, but it was the yard in the back is next to ours. And so that, the older people couldn't get to it. And so it just, even in the little over a year, it was so overgrown. Like I shared it on my stories, I think, but so overgrown. And so there's just a lot of stuff we have to do in the yard. We're almost done with all of that. So then we can work on the inside, just some touch-up paint and stuff. But this is where we are with the whole rental. We have a data center here that has been here, and I think it's going to be here for a few years now. And so like I hear, I don't know for sure, but all of our campgrounds, all of that, nobody can get a spot because the data center people are coming from out of town to work on this data center. And so here's where we are. I would love to be able to find somebody that, like a teacher or a nurse or somebody that's looking for a place, because it's the data center people are taking all of the places. Does that make sense? So people that are actually living here and like from here, they're having a hard time finding places because the data center is just making it super crazy. So I know if I put it up tomorrow, I could have a data center person in there right away. But even if it's a little less money than what we could get from the data center, and we had, somebody like a teacher or something in there, or a couple or whatever, I kind of feel like that's what I want to do. But so yeah, or would you just open it up to the data center? Tell me what you would do if you're here. If you're here, would you open it up, just rent it, or would you try and find somebody first? I know like we could have it rented by this weekend. And here's the thing that's been happening, because we do know a couple people that have rentals in the area and they have data center people in there. They are getting asked, do you guys want to know how to make these? Did I show you how to make these, or did I just talk about them? I wish I would have grabbed some sticks. But what happens is we don't want to have like 4 different people living in a house. Does that make sense? But that's what's happening. You will get let's just say one guy in there for the data center, like an electrician or whatever. And then it usually happens that they're like, hey, I have a friend that needs a place. And then they're like, whatever, like we'll pay for it. So then now you've got 2 guys, and then one of our friends that has a rental, they just ask for a 3rd guy to go in. And now he's making great money on the rental. Like every time somebody comes in, it's an extra good chunk of money. But then you've got for him, it's 3 different guys living in there. And I just know, because we're not one of those landlords that, we want it to look nice, and we, we're going in and making all the small changes again. So I would just really like to be able to give it to like a teacher or something that just needs a space. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's not like it's super small or super huge at all. It's just like right in the middle. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. We're still getting some work done. I'm going to have somebody come in and really clean it. They didn't clean everything. So I have to have somebody come. I actually did a walkthrough because a lot of people have followed the journey of the last 2 of the 3 houses we got, and all the other houses we've ever done. I've shared them all here on the website, on the YouTube channel, from day 1 when we get the keys all the way through the makeover until the end. And so I did a walkthrough, my initial walkthrough to kind of check everything, and I'm going to be uploading that to YouTube, just because I get a lot of people that want to get into rentals or flipping. Either way, we've done both. And so I think it's just, if you've watched the journey, I think it's part of the journey, walking through it after somebody moves out. So, and kind of some of the things to look at. So I'm going to share that. I'll share that on YouTube. I'll try and get that done maybe today or tomorrow and get that uploaded on there. But yeah, so anyway, let me see. Yeah, see, I would provide the space for locals. And that's just the thing. I don't know how to, we're trying to reach out to anybody and everybody we know first, just to say, hey, we've got this. This is what it'll be. This is when it'll be ready. If you know anybody, because I just think word of mouth is so much better too. That's how we've done the last 2 of the last 3. The 3rd one, the people stayed in it. So, when we bought it. So I would just rather do that if possible, just because it's just better. So if I advertise for it, I know I'm going to get a lot of, so I don't know if I can, locals only, But anyway, so that's where we are with that. So that's kind of been our weekends too. We've been dog sitting. We've been moving cars that our kids think, hey, I'm just going to leave it here while we go and do this entire route of groceries. And then that we've been working over there at that rental. So, okay. Anybody else? How was your weekend? Do you have any questions? Because I will pop off here. Is anybody watching, any true crime people here, watching or paying attention to, or like getting just updates on the Lindsay Clancy case? One thing I don't like about sometimes social media and stuff, it's like one person brings a different narrative, and then it's like that's all you hear and that's all you see, and then it's like, wait a minute, maybe that is it's crazy. So yeah. Okay, I don't think anybody is. I have seen one person say provide the space for locals. I was actually going to get on live here and decorate the hutch upstairs. If you've been here for a long time, you know that I used to decorate the hutch all the time live on Facebook and sometimes YouTube. But Facebook and not YouTube. Oh my gosh. Facebook and Instagram. But Instagram doesn't love these longer videos or lives, or and Facebook doesn't as well. They like to be like TikTok, like quick short videos. That's the reels and all of that. But I was going to do that, but I had too many people upstairs that it was not going to work at all. So I'll do that another time maybe. There's a lot of people that don't want to be on camera, and I don't want to have them be super quiet while they're trying to get ready to go to work or go to what they're doing for the day. So I decided not to do that. So, okay, I don't see anybody except for that one. So what is today? I think I've been on 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And I've only seen one person. Sawdust they don't. It's so frustrating because you have to change all of your content. And I get people ask me all the time, where are the lives? You share your thrift hauls. You used to share that. Yes. And I loved it. And it was so much easier. So I didn't have to upload a video and do like all that. So I still do all that stuff, but I put it on YouTube because Facebook just won't show it to you. And Instagram, same with Instagram. They just kind of want to be TikTok. I just wish they would all kind of stay in their own lane, right? TikTok be TikTok, Instagram be Instagram, Facebook, you do your own thing, YouTube, you do your own thing. Like we can all post and be happy. Do you sell at any vendor shows? Experience with it? Okay, I could talk your ear off about this, and I actually got this. I don't think it was on a live because I haven't done many. I've only done this. This is my fourth time doing live on Monday mornings. So there have been many, many times that people have asked me to do vendor shows, open a booth like in a store type of thing. And I actually wrote an entire blog post about this. I hope you will go and look at it. If you just go to mycreativedays.com and look up vendor booth, you should be able to find it. But there are so many questions, and there's reasons why I haven't done it. And the main reason here is because I just don't feel like we have the market or the, I wish I had my laptop down here, because I'd be happy to go through all the things. If you're thinking about doing it, I just don't feel like we have the market or the, where the places are, they're just not easily accessible. Like you have to know where they are. It's not like you're going to just happen upon them, or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like they're just not in a good area. A couple years ago, I actually was asked to do one, and I went into the place, and immediately I drove to it, and I was like, there's no way, nobody will come here. And they have since closed, like they have closed the doors. So the number one thing I would say to you, and when you say vendor shows, are you talking about where you're actually traveling to those? Are you talking about more like booths too? So the whole, not necessarily traveling, right? Like you can go up the street or go downtown or wherever you are and set up a booth. Those are more intriguing to me than actually setting up in a shop in a booth, because they are usually, and this is something you definitely need to know, you need to know how much traffic they get. They are usually marketed really well, right? So it's usually an event that people go to. Whereas a standalone store, you know, it's like, well, if somebody gets a Thursday off, they may wind up in this store, right? So, okay, so like a pop-up show. So yes, so those are more intriguing to me than an actual standalone store, booth in a store. So again, we've been asked to do those. I'm a completely open book. So I'm just trying to be, so basically, yes, those are more intriguing to me. I would want to know like what the traffic is. I would want to know how they market. I would like to know like what is the following. So if, I don't know, Iowa pop-up show, like look on their social media, right? That's where everybody is. Everybody is on social media to some capacity. So do they have a Facebook page? Do they have an Instagram page? Do they have a TikTok page? Like what, go and look those out and see, do they have a large following? See what people are saying about it. See, do they post about Iowa pop-up show on those pages? So like when they are having their shows, are there people constantly marketing it? Meaning they're walking through the booths. They're showing people what you're going to, you know, the kinds of things that you're going to run into at this booth. Do they feature different booths? Like, and I'm calling them booths, but you know what I mean? Like different tents, depending on what it is. Like how are they getting people to come to you at this show? Because the thing is, I'm going to be completely, they are so much work, especially if you are traveling any amount of way. Like you're moving the stuff from your house or your warehouse or your garage, whatever, to a different place. Then you're going to hear my dog bark probably because Lana just pulled in. To a place, you are traveling, right? So even if you're just going downtown, you are traveling. There's so much that goes into that it's not just an easy thing. So you want to make sure that it's worth your while. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that you have so much traffic there and that it's going to be worth your while. We have done our own little pop-up sales at our house for years. In the beginning, we didn't know it's not really that, but basically we were just having sales. So if I'm thrifting, yard selling, and I find things that I love, I would always pick them up. But I'm also the person that is constantly redecorating, reorganizing, and I'm constantly getting rid of things. And so we would just have sales, right? As I was getting rid of things. Well, over the years, we kept hearing people say, when is your next sale? And we're like, well, I don't know. And so then I literally had a piece of paper one day at one of our sales, and I grew an entire email list of people that wanted to be notified whenever we had a sale. So don't know if you can do this in your area. Don't even know if this is something you'd be interested in, but it kind of organically happened for us. So now any time that I clean a bunch of stuff out or we have enough stuff, I can email this group. And last October, I don't think we're having one this October, but last October we had such an amazing show. People were saying they were parked 3 blocks away. I had one person bring a U-Haul. They were bringing trucks. It was, to be completely honest, we should have had more people working it, if that makes sense. It was mad chaos, but it's so much fun because not only do we have the stuff that all these people are looking for, but I get to catch up with all those people that are either following me here in our local or they're friends that you only see, you know, when you have one of your sales or, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's super fun. But that's kind of got the same vibe without all of the work. You definitely want to know, you want to make sure you have all your questions answered. So how much space do you get at this vendor booth? Is there a space regulation? Setting up your booth is your tent is like you have to think of all the logistics, right? So are people walking by it from the front and the back and the sides? Are you just going to be up against a brick wall? Like you have to think of it that way. Then having all the systems for how they can check out, if they're using card, cash, all of that, Venmo, having all of that set up. And then what you're responsible for and when you can put up and tear down. So those are the biggest things, because for me, I need some time, especially if it's not, you're not used to that. I'm just saying 10 by 10 tent. And for the first time, I mean, after you do it more and more and more, it'll be like second knowledge. This peg wall always goes here and this is where they check out here. Like you'll get to know that better, but you definitely need time before the actual event to set up. But if you've got they've got a really good following, you've been to it, that's another thing. I would definitely start with one that you've actually been to. And another thing is, and this isn't, I want to know what kinds of other people, no, that's not what I want to say. Like what kind of sellers get to come there? So like, are they vetting, like how are they getting the people there? Because if I find out that, there's moms that are selling kids toys and the rest are baked goods and painted signs, the stuff that I'm going to bring, which is like vintage, curated, those kinds of things, like those people probably aren't going to come there. Does that make sense? Like what kind of, application, or can anybody just sign up to set up a booth no matter what it is that they're selling? So if you are somebody that does vintage stuff, like me, you want to find markets that's what the main thing is, because those are your people coming to those sales, to those events, to those pop-ups. And you definitely, instead of just, you really want to make sure that there's going to be enough pop-ups there, right? Like enough tents there, enough vendors there, to have three tents set up. It's probably not worth your time. And this is just from over years doing all the stuff that I've done. Your time is valuable. Your time you cannot get back. So that is where you really need to think about how much time and effort it's going to take, and what is on the flip side, does that make sense? I do not want to be, if you don't have like a big truck or a trailer, I do not want to be renting a U-Haul or whatever, putting all the stuff in there to be literally taking it all down in 3 days and nothing has sold, right? So there are definitely some questions you want to ask. Obviously what the cost is for you to set up, and can you have 2 tents? Let's say you've got more stuff than the 10 by 10 they're allotting. Well, can you buy 2 spaces right next to each other and set up? Those are just some of the first things that come off. And that post will still help you because it's things that maybe you're not thinking of. But let me know. Let me know if you have any other questions. Sometimes I feel like I go off on a tangent, but then just direct me back. What other specific questions or... But I think, and Matt and I talk about it all the time. I know I definitely do not want to ever open a store. Like that has never tugged at my heart. Like I actually helped a friend do a store. I would go in and I would style it for her, and just, that has just never been something that has tugged at my heart. But a pop-up, that's like, it's a good way to see if it's something you'd be interested in, because it's not a full commitment like a booth in a store. It's not a full store, obviously. But then here's another thing too. I would definitely, if you do it, I would definitely grab email lists or email addresses too in the thing, so that you can, maybe you decide to do something on your own, or maybe you decide to, maybe you have an Etsy shop, and maybe you, oh my gosh, I could go on and on about this stuff. I will answer that in a question. Maybe you could, grow an email list, and then you can just start selling your stuff without these things. So do I sell on Etsy? I do not. A couple years ago, I would share my thrift hauls and people would ask, can I buy your stuff? It might have been Facebook. I can't remember. So I did start an Instagram shop page, which is something that, it's all in marketing, you guys, and it's all in what you're doing. So, Etsy's great for so many people, and I know so many people do it, but I've also heard horror stories where Etsy can just close down your shop because you violated something you didn't, and then trying to get somebody to chat with you about it, which is the horrible thing about any social media too, because you don't own any of it. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you don't own any of them. And if you have followed me for any amount of time, I think it was 3 years ago, my entire Facebook page got hacked. It was the most stressful time ever. And it is still affecting some things today, but you just have no control over it. And there's not one darn person you can get in contact with. Like literally, I feel like I have PTSD whenever I have to reach out to, it's just a complete nightmare. So I think Etsy works for a lot of people. If you have any kind of following, though, I would tell you to think about that as well. So if you have seen people I've seen people set up like auction sales on their pages. I have seen people do just like a flat lay sale. I have done where it's individual pictures with the description kind of thing. So definitely look into those. I don't know. Do you sell at all right now, or you're wanting to get into selling, don't you have a good following too? I don't want to click on anything because knowing me, I'll just okay, I should reach out to you because I've got my page back and it's growing and it's doing fine. But there are certain things, it's a more drawn out thing. I'd have to email you or chit chat with you about that. So yeah. Oh, okay. So you do sell on Etsy and Facebook Marketplace. Okay. So you are doing those things. Okay. So if you're doing that, so if you have a ton of inventory, I would definitely, and if you've got a really good pop-up and a really good event, and they are really trying to get people there and they're really trying to, and they've got a good turnout, I would definitely tell you to do it because it sounds like you've got inventory. And hopefully it's local. I don't know if you're thinking about a local one. So then you could just kind of test the waters and just see. Another one we have, and I know a lot of people or a lot of towns or cities have farmers markets that, people will set up a booth. It's not just your vegetables and stuff. People will actually set up all kinds of things at a farmer's market. Ours is pretty huge in our downtown. But then we have cities around us too that have farmers markets on the opposite days. So like, depending on how much you wanted to get into it, you could totally, and depending on your area, I know they're all different. It just depends on, yes. So right now sales are very slow. Yes. But, here's what I like about starting a page or starting a, selling your stuff on your page or even on an email list. Like you could just start an email list and email it out. Is that people, you ship local and ship nationwide. Yes. And so here's the thing. So when you have my foot is on this table, if you can hear that, people will look forward to it. So when you are selling on Etsy, and I know people sometimes will launch like sales or they'll launch like vintage Halloween on September 1st or whatever on their Etsy page. And I think that's what you can kind of do. And so the people that follow your page will get that, if I'm right. But when you are on, like if you have an Instagram page and you start it, I mean, it's just think of all the things you can constantly market yourself. You can constantly share your haul, share a new thing you got in, share something that's coming up soon. Like you just build the momentum, and then you are every Thursday, every third Thursday, every other Tuesday, we know to go on your page and that you are going to drop something at 9 a.m. Central Time. And so I'm just saying it's your people. Whereas Facebook Marketplace is Facebook Marketplace, nothing's going to change about that. They do have that new seller app, I think, for Facebook. Haven't looked into it. I've just seen people share it. But there's something to be said about that. Now, I'm not saying, I mean, I definitely, if you think you've got a good pop-up to do, definitely try it. But you're just going to have your local market there, which is great, but market it. You yourself should market it as well. But when I say you should know how they do it, because they need you to come, right? They need vendors to come to their pop-up or their event. And so, okay, entice me. How are you going to get me to do all that work and set up at your market? Because they need people to come to that event, market, pop-up, whatever it is. And so how are you getting people there? So that is way important. It should not just fall on you, but you yourself should definitely be marketing it and sharing it on social, whatever, as well. Anybody and everybody you know should know that you're doing it and setting up. And they should be telling friends and family of theirs as well. So yeah, so is any of that helpful? Please tell me. Sometimes, like I said, I can just start talking and I so appreciate your question and just the conversation back and forth. That's what I want this to be. So yeah. Let me know if there's anything else. And you're in Ankeny, right? Or you're in Des Moines. So see, I don't know any of them. But where we are in Iowa, there are, well, actually the one in Mount Vernon, which we used to go to every July 4th, they didn't do it, which was weird this year. It sounded like, it's not like, oh, we're tearing up the street, we're not doing it this year or something like that. It was just kind of like, we're not doing it. And I think some of the local people and the shops and stuff were pretty upset about it. So I don't know. But that was always one of the ones where I'm like, I could do this one. And we came really close to doing it a couple of times because it's exactly the people, and all of the vendors were exactly the stuff that I would bring. So it was the perfect fit. But okay, Urbandale. Yeah, see, so I don't know. But I would think the Des Moines area would have so many more, and I don't know, like I said, but would have so many more those kinds of things, or like the farmers markets around there. Again, could totally be wrong. Another thing to ask or to know is, are they inside or outside? Most are outside, and then you just pray and hope for good weather, because if you do not have good weather, even if it's a chilly or hot, I mean, that's fine. But if you have like rain and stuff, people are not coming out. And what a complete nightmare to have to do all that work, then everything's soaked. And I mean, I know you have tents and stuff, but just a complete nightmare. Really? So these are shows that are inside, which, okay, I get. But we have, if Matt was here, he would tell me, there's another real good one, and you almost have to apply for it. I get it every spring and fall. Oh my gosh. And it's outside, and it's really cute. If I think of it, I will message you. I want to say it's Tipton, but, and I know that would be a jaunt, but there's vendors like outside, and then they have this kind of like a barn thing where some people are in, and then they have like food. So this is what I want to know too. Do you have food trucks, or do you have, I don't know, do you have somebody playing music? Do you have like a drink truck, or do you have is this an event, or am I just going to roll up there and there's 3 tables outside, right? The event is what is going to bring people. And I feel like in the fall, there's more too. Like, I want this to be where people are, they're going to spend some time. They're going to grab a hot dog and a burger out of this truck. Then they're going to grab a drink, and then they're just browsing, right? That was one of my, what I had to have, right? I didn't just want it to be 3 tents. And so the 2 that I was talking about, this one and the other one that was in Mount Vernon, those 2 kind of fit all of those. And it was the same kind of stuff that I'd be bringing. This one though has more, that would fit, like vintage clothes booths too. Like, that would totally work. But some of them are just like they make totes, or which is totally fine. Like, I'm not mad about any of that, or that wouldn't deter me, but I would not want that to be the only thing. Like crafts and homemade stuff, if that makes sense. Because again, that is not my customer. Somebody that's coming to buy, crafts and, personalized cutting boards, that's not the same people that I need that's going to be coming to pick up ironstone and, those kinds of things. So definitely those are just some things to think about. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions. There has got to be out. Facebook Marketplace can be so frustrating. But I just also think too, with Facebook Marketplace, you're limited kind of there. I know you said you ship too, but I really feel like and depending on what you're selling, I just feel like Etsy would be better. And I'm sure Facebook Marketplace is doing a lot better too, but just like the search engine, if that makes sense, for people to find what you're, But then on the flip side, marketing and really, marketing yourself, which can be totally hard, is also super important. And I'm going to tell you, this is all I'll say. This is my last little bit of advice. Please do ask questions. You can do really well without relying on any of those. Not kidding. You can do really well not relying on any of those. It's just all in your marketing, and just making sure you get into in front of the right people, which is again and a lot of your marketing and what you can do. Yeah, scammers are the worst. It's just such a waste of time. If you have any other questions, you can always message me too. I'm happy to help with whatever I can. But just remember, you don't have to rely on those to do well and to sell the stuff that you're doing. It's something that I go back and forth with all the time. Yeah, I'm almost done. I go back and forth with all the time because I got to the point where I was doing a sale or a launch every week. And I just got, with everything else I'm doing with my creative days and all of that, I didn't have time to source really well every week. And so I pulled back and I just took a break from it for a while. And I go back and forth all the time about doing it because I know the market's there. It's just, I would have to let go of a lot of other things to be able to keep up with it. And so that's just kind of where I'm at. It is super fun though. I could thrift, yard sale, estate sale, if they're depending, like all the time. And I want to buy all the things that I find that are really great. Even if it's something I know I'm not going to use, but it's like, it's there. I have to bring it home. And so having other people to shop for is super fun, right? Like you don't have to have an excuse. Well, where am I going to put this? But if it's a good deal and it's a really good piece, I'm going to pick it up anyway, and I'll either find a place or whatever. But yeah, you can do all of that without having to rely on that other stuff. So if you have any other questions, message me. I'm happy to help. But I am going to get off now. Landon is actually upstairs. How long have I been on here? Is it 40 minutes? I can't see behind my thing. And as always, I just upload these right over to YouTube. So some people were saying that they couldn't make it at 8 a.m., but they still wanted to watch it. So I just download these and then I upload them to YouTube. So make sure you just subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. And then I just upload those over there. So, and then if you have any other questions after watching any of these, just put them in the comments on the YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to answer them. So, okay, that's it. I hope you guys have a great week. I will talk to you very soon. And yeah, have a good Monday.